Katie, welcome to Podcastina.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. How's your summer been?
My summer, honestly, so far so good. I love summer. I'm a summer gal. I like to I've been reading like a crap ton, which is like my favorite thing. And Love Island is on, so it's like, can't really ask for anything better.
I know that you do your book podcast with former guest on this show, Andy Ryder.
Yes,
So
fingering the page.
that's so good.
We are like wrapping up our first season. Actually, we have one more episode. I think that's coming out soon, or it's out. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, but it's like those books I read like kind of as a homework assignment. So then when I get to read my books, I get like really excited because like I don't know if I in good conscience could recommend those books.
I was gonna ask.
Some people were like, "Oh, I don't want to like watch because I'm worried you're gonna spoil it." I was like, "These are books you do not want to read. You do not want to read most of these things."
How do you guys pick them?
That's we pretty much like try to find like trashy good one, like trashy like highly rated ones. Has like really anything in the romance genre if it has a funny title. Like Single Orc Dad. We were like, I feel like we have to do this one. You know, one I heard on a podcast, like a book podcast that was like super highly recommended. They're like, it was the spiciest book that I read last year, and I was like, well, it probably has to be at least somewhat decent. It was horrible. It was one of the worst things I've ever read in my entire life. And also I had one of the grossest sex scenes. It wasn't even sex scene. It wasn't even a sex scene. It was like, it was so nasty. I don't even know if I can say it out loud.
I feel like I've heard about this book that you're talking about.
Elsie Silver is the author. That woman is a dirty motherfucker. I couldn't. It's like she watches him masturbate in the shower, but it's like described in the most graphic, gnarly, like, and like the splooge. It's just, I didn't need it. You know,
I sometimes read smut, but it doesn't have to be graphic for it to be enough. And they can do all the weird, like, I touched her sex.
Correct. Her mound.
Yeah.
I love when they say mound. It's
her
like
Barbie
nasty.
mound.
Yeah. Or like, ooh.
But I guilty of reading oh my gosh,
Court of Thorns and Roses.
No, the other one that's really popular. But
Throne of Glass.
Oh my god,
Is it that same author, Sarah J. Maas?
No, but it's like dragons.
Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing. Yes, that's right. I was like about to call it Iron Wing is the second. The one
Iron Flame.
Iron Flame. Yeah.
And Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
Fourth Wing. First book, great. Scratch the itch. Second book, I was like, you guys are annoying. Talk to each other.
Yeah.
Third book, I was like, what have you done?
The third book was bad.
Where are we going with this?
I was so bummed. It took me so long to read.
I was like, you have planted so many seeds. And we're not. What are what are you doing? There's nothing. We're not even like tying anything together.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I was pissed. I was pissed
right there with you. I want to hear your Rex then.
Oh, okay.
Give me outline your book taste for me.
Oh,
tell me how you choose, and then give me some Rex.
Oh my god, this is this is gonna take the full hour.
That's fine. Listen, I'm like a voracious reader, and if the listeners aren't into it, then they know what they've signed up for here and right now.
So first of all, well, there's like a lot of I'm a very emotional reader. Like I read by seasons. Like I need beachy reads in the summer. I need like darker like fantasy in the winter, like fall winter.
I like that.
I can't read things that are too heavy because up here is heavy enough, you know? I get like way too sad. That book Tomorrow. Do you know that one?
I haven't read that one.
But have you heard of it?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, it's the best book ever. I was like, it's the saddest book I've ever, one of the saddest books I've ever read. Yeah. And they're like, it's about friendship. And I was like, it's about the worst friendship I've ever read.
Did you read A Little Life?
No.
Don't.
Okay.
That book is depressing, and then you keep reading, it gets more depressing and more depressing. and more depressed, and you're like, how could they possibly make it more sad? And then they find a way.
Yeah, and then every like New York Times like book author is like, it's very well written and it's
It is
changing
beautiful.
the world.
Yeah,
like, I don't care. I don't care. This is so sad. I don't think we need sadder books. Like we all watch the news every day.
Yeah,
we're living in a sadness. I don't need it. I need like fake life. I need escapism. So I like really like historical fiction too, and I've been reading a lot of that. I kind of go between romance and historical fiction as like my spring summer.
I love that they're seasonal, because I read like a Christmas book every Christmas, but I should probably be more seasonal, actually.
Have to. And then like it really depends on, there's this author, her name is Beatrice Williams, and she's like white lady crack, but I love it. Like I looked at her, I was like looking on her website looking for her newest book, and there's a photo of like the book club meetup, and it's all white women like over 60, and I was like, and then it would be like me, you know. I'm like, I am such a not in the target audience. But she does this thing with her novels where she has this like fully thought out family tree of like multi-generational, so, like you see it from like the early 1800s through like modern day.
Wow.
And you see how it all branches out, and by no means you need to read any of them in chronological order, but she kind of has like a set of 3 books that all tied together. So if it's oldest sister, middle sister, youngest sister, they're all like kind of in all of them, and then the sister gets her one, the middle sister gets one, the baby gets one, and they're all like that typical. It's kind of like a trope now, I guess, but these women that didn't really fit in like polite society because they were like too badass, you know. Like they were like, I don't want to wear like a skirt, I want to wear pants, and it was like the 40s, so they were like, oh my god. And like, so like those are usually that's usually the type of main character she has. She does a lot of dual timeline stuff, so like there's ways that she ties in the past and like the present and how their family stories all connect. And there's usually a little bit of romance in it, and there's like always like some mystery that's being solved. So it's like,
okay, it's layered. She's a layered girl.
She's layered, and I fucking love it. Eat it up. I eat it up. And there's like a couple. Who's the new historical fiction? Natasha
Hannah?
No, she's too sad for me.
Oh,
but I need to.
I understand. The Nightingale is one of my favorite books, but I cried. I weeped on an airplane reading it.
It's like, you gotta read the women, and I'm like, I don't think I would recover.
The Women was the least sad of all her books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I could handle it.
Still fucking sad, but like the Nightingale will send you into a doctor's office. And then the Great Alone will send you into outpatient. Great. Okay. And then the Women.
Okay. And then that's like,
by the time you read the Women, you're like, oh, I'm watching Bluey with my nephew. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like I have Natasha Lester is my new favorite historical fiction lady I found. And the first one I read, I think it was called The 3 Lives of Alex St. Pierre. And it's like this woman who like grew up basically like an orphan, and then found her way to Paris, became like this like fashion icon, but then then the war World War II started, and she became a spy.
I love a World War II fiction.
I like reading about the spy stuff. Like I don't need the Nazi stuff because we know it's too sad. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be sadder about the Holocaust. It's sad enough. It's so sad, and it's there, you know. But she's like a code reader, so she sends codes all around, and then like some big thing happened, and then one of the guys that's involved is like chasing her down now in present day, and you're trying to figure out what happened and all this stuff. And then I did another one by her where she's it's all about the art coup of like the Nazis, like we're stealing all the French art, and like how this like group of people like saved all this art from the Nazis plundering.
That's cool.
It was really cool. And then there's also like a present day tie into that. Like there's like a B storyline. of like the present day lady finds one of these pieces of art in her collection.
Oh.
How is my family tied to Nazi plundering? And you find that whole, then you figure out all that. So she's and it's just really fun. Like I like a whodunit, but in any kind of way. You know, it's like doesn't always have to be murder, but like that's I don't really like a murder situation. It's too much for me.
Do you read true crime at all?
No. No. It's the least white thing about me. So I can't. I fucking can't, dude. It fucks me up.
Yeah.
Because I used to do it a ton in high school, and then I started getting so paranoid. I had to shut it down.
It's smart that you had the wherewithal to, cut it off at the knees, because I am reading it constantly. I just read another one. I can't.
You gotta stop. Because I remember the book that did it for me, that like pushed me over the edge, was the murderer got in because he waited for someone got home, closed the garage. He was on the side of the garage. He waited till the very, very last moment to roll under, and that's how he broke in. And then into the house.
Okay, but that happens in real life all the time.
And then I would like stay there and watch the garage go all the way to the ground, and then I'd be like, no murder. and then I'd like go to bed. And my parents I remember like being in high school and one of my parents being like, "What are you waiting for?" And I was like, "I just want to make sure no murderers are coming." And they're like, "What the hell is going on?"
And I don't know if I should tell you this anecdote, but maybe this is like why I ended up loving true crime, because I didn't get into it until later.
After a personal murder? After you got murdered?
After, I guess, just like a close call. But I used to work at an apartment leasing company in Cleveland, and there was an apartment that I would tour in like an up and coming neighborhood, which is the nice way to say dilapidated shithole neighborhood. But we had a tenant who was moving in, and the movers had like propped all the doors open, so this guy snuck in when the movers weren't paying attention, and he hid in her closet and waited for them to leave, and then assaulted her at knife point.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And that was like an apartment I had been in by myself many times.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I think my kind of reaction to experiencing something like that and just being creeped out by a lot of things as a kid was to just consume a ton of true crime, because I listen to like some of the only podcasts I'm loyal to are true crime podcasts. Some of the shows that I watch,
do you think it helps you feel like it's like ammo for like what to be aware of?
It's ammo for what to be aware of, and it's, I guess, validating my already kind of paranoid way that because I am like head on a fucking swivel all the time.
I know, that's how I am. I'm like what? Like it doesn't matter who's walking across the street. I'm like, that person's coming for me.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then one of my favorite books ever is The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, and it's his, I wouldn't say like memoir exactly, but he owns like one of the most successful security companies in the country, and he's an expert on like all things security. And Oprah blew him up. He got famous for saying never go to a second location with someone on Oprah's show.
Oh my god,
that's him. That he's that guy. And so the book The Gift of Fear just relays all this evidence and all these anecdotal stories of people having like a weird off feeling, and then it turns out to be really a dangerous situation. Like, for example,
holy fuck, this
guy was at his place of work, and one of his coworkers got like a weird package, and something just set the hairs on the back of his neck off about this package that like his subconscious perceived it to be a threat.
Okay.
And he got uncomfortable with how his body felt, and he made a joke like, haha, it's probably a bomb, and he fucking walked away, and then heard an explosion in his coworker's office because it was a bomb.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's all these kind of stories of, hey, here's times when people felt something was weird, like a creepy guy in the elevator offered to help with the groceries, and the woman's first instinct was to say no. Mm-hmm. She talked herself out of it because she was like, I don't want to be rude, and then the guy assaulted her.
Yeah, of course.
So it's basically a book on trusting your instincts, because like we have that animal. We're not prey animals, obviously, but there's something there
Yeah.
that if and when those alarm bells are ringing, listen.
Dude, I feel like I've been trying to be, especially like what we were talking about before we started recording, like listening to my gut of like what feels good and what feels bad in my body, and like where do I feel relaxed, where do I feel like I'm like just tense, and being like this is good, this is not, this is let's chase that. And I feel like I've had a lot of versions of that throughout my life. I don't know if I could give like a good example, but like you're like this is something. This is something, like I need to trust this, and then like something happens. You're like, I was right.
Yeah.
I was freaking right.
Yeah. The whole Gavin DeBecker just talks about how there's parts of our knowledge that we can't necessarily access, but it doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean that information isn't stored subconsciously, and you're getting that weird feeling even though you can't necessarily say, oh,
Like,
it's
put your
because
finger
this,
on
this,
it.
and that, right?
Oh my God, that's fascinating.
But that like trust that instinct.
I love that. Maybe I should read that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe once I like
It won't make you sad.
calm down. Calm down
Yeah.
up here.
Let's get back to your book recs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you
Tangent.
want? What are you into? What do you want right now?
God,
Do you
I'm
need a
into
summer?
everything.
Do you
Yeah,
need
I
a
need a
summer read?
summer. I'm reading
Okay, I have to go out of airplane mode to get my list.
Yeah. Right now I'm reading is it called All That Remains? Or no, Remains of the Day. And I didn't realize it would be so old-timey, and sometimes I struggle to get through these books where it's like really old-timey. It's about like a butler in the 30s.
Okay.
And
See,
it's getting
actually,
better, but
I'm glad that you brought this point
yeah.
up, because sometimes when I say historical fiction, the things that are recommended to me are like they take place in the 1800s or like the 1910s, and it's written in that old. It feels old.
It's hard
And
to
I'm
read
like,
the shit.
God, what monster would put this out and recommend this to me in the 2025? Like, the reason I like Beatrice, like some of these historical fiction authors that I've mentioned, like they do a really good job of making it feel fresh and like rooted in the present, even though we are 50, 60 years behind, like in the story. And I think that's super fucking hard to do.
Yeah, it can be.
Okay, so let's see. Some good, I just looked at my last 1 star. It's really tough.
Are you a Goodreads user?
Yes.
Nice.
There's that new one that people are talking about. Fuck, what's it called?
I seldom use Goodreads. I mostly just use my notes app, where I just put down books that I hear of in my notes app, and then I eventually get to them.
I did notes app for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then someone convinced me, and it's like it's really fun. Okay. Historical fiction. What was the one that I liked the most out of these last couple? Oh, Fiona Davis is good too. Yeah, Natasha Lester is okay. The Disappearance of Astrid Ricard.
Okay.
This is the cover.
Nice.
It also takes. She does a lot of. She used to work in fashion, so you guys can see this. It's a white lady with red hair with a beautiful blue dress on. She used to work in fashion, so a lot of her stories have some type of tie to the fashion world, which, as someone who really just lives in sports bras and like t-shirts, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but she sucked me in. And this is, of the 3 I've read recently, this one was one of my favorites, because it feels a little bit, there was like something on the back. Someone said it was like Daisy Jones and the Six.
I loved Daisy Jones and the
Six.
Six.
It has that forbidden romance and like the muse of the artist, and then there's also this is also a 3 generations one, and it's like the oldest woman was like abandoned as a child. There's the theme here. And was a prostitute to make money, and then kind of like turned her life around, became like got into the art world. Her daughter like had this huge, like, she went to fashion school and was trying to make a name for herself, and she falls in love with the star male fashion guy, and like did she influence his designs, did he influence hers, and like the tabloids and like all this stuff, like back and forth, trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay,
like,
that's fun. I can see how that wouldn't strain your mental health at all, and just be like a good ride.
You're like, this is a good ride. And then the present day lady, she's like trying to make, she is torn between, do I want to make my own name for myself and not have anything to do with my mom, this like big huge like everyone knows her kind of thing, or just like lean in and be like, yes, this is who I am, this is what my family represents, and like really like blow it out. And there's like a lot of like, she just got divorced, so like there's a whole like that kind of thing, so it's super fun. And then if you want a romance,
I don't know why that's probably the category I read the least.
okay, so let's not do a romance, or do you want one?
I mean, do you have a favorite of all time?
No. I don't. I feel like I should, but they're all kind of like, you know, they're not there's not like one of those ones that like I would read again. I don't really like to reread.
Yeah, I don't reread.
The Throne of Glass series was like probably one of my favorites.
I think honestly Twilight was my gateway into reading for fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a real I've never read the Twilight book. I never even saw Twilight till the pandemic.
Wow.
Because I think it was like it came out when I was like too cool.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like not cool. I was like, I'm not it's like too mainstream. Which like I hate that I was even like that. I didn't
read Harry Potter when they were coming out, and I read those during the pandemic and had a blast.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
And people really hate J.K. Rowling right now, and I understand why. But my stance is, if Louis C.K. can put his penis in front of so many women's faces and still sell out Madison Square Garden, I'm still gonna keep my Harry Potter books.
Yeah, there's certain crimes that are not great enough.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not the same, and she almost gets more shit.
It's true. It's
CK.
true. But people, I think, don't necessarily put it on Harry Potter. Like, some people definitely do, very extreme types.
Yeah.
But I find that there's a lot of work that I'm like, we're letting this slide, right? Like, we can't let Kanye slide, but we're letting this slide.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, if you ever had like an emo moment, but the band Brand New.
Brand New?
Uh-huh. Did you ever listen to them?
I might have. I was really into like Newfound Glory, Yellow Card, that whole
Okay. That was
genre.
more like pop punk.
Yeah.
So
Brand
New was a little more like
more intense.
I might be cutting myself in the closet when mom's not looking. Like a little bit.
Not that. Mine was like, my dad will not stop yelling at me. You know?
But anyhow, Brand New was like huge back then, you know, doing Warped Tour and all the stuff. And I love their music like so much. Last week, I felt like I needed to cry and I couldn't quite summon it. And I listened to Brand New for the first time in like probably 6 months and immediately sobbing, just tears streaming down my face. I love them so much. And he kind of, their lead singer was canceled for something to do with a minor and like, but he didn't go to jail. It wasn't anything like that. So with that, I'm like, no, I'm still listening to Brand New. But I, as a kid, was like listening to Lost Prophets, and like he went to jail for actual like pedophilia, and I'm like, okay, we don't listen to Lost Prophets anymore. So for me, there's like kind of a line of what, and the criminality has a lot to do with it. It's like if you're a criminal, or if you're Kanye West, like, and you're calling for violence against people, that's when your art gets just. Anything before that, I'm like, how good is it though? Like, how good is that Louis album though?
Yeah, it's fucking good. My friend has a really good joke. I wish I could like, I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm just gonna tell the gist of it. But he basically makes you be like, marry, fuck, kill R. Kelly, Kanye. and what's the third guy? P. Diddy. So he like makes you do it, and like he kind of goes through like the moral, like what do you feel like what, but like seriously, like what would you do? Like marry, fuck, kill, and then you find out I learned question. It's so funny because he's like, no matter what answer you say, you're wrong. You know. It's so
wait, who? P. Diddy, Kanye,
and R. Kelly. And so,
damn.
And now, so I learned this watching his joke, because so many people were like, you can't listen to R. Kelly anymore, right? Like you had to cut it, you had to shut it down. But
he went to jail.
And now the victims are getting royalties for those songs. So it's like now you're like, I feel like I need to listen to R. Kelly so these women can get paid.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what to do here. What's the plan? What's our plan, you guys?
That's so good. I need
It
to
was-
start playing that with people just to watch them
it's
get
like-
tongue-tied.
I was like, oh my, like watching, I was like, dude, that's one of the best jokes I've heard in so long. He's like, I can only do it at specific shows if they're like on board with me. And I'm like, I get it, but it's so funny.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I was so impressed. I was like, that was brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it is like,
What would your answer be?
I think I would have to kill R. Kelly. He's like really gross to me. Because
See, I feel like I would kill P. Diddy because he would kill me first if I didn't.
you know, that's
Like,
what
it would
that's
be-
what I was like. I'm like, who would have the most harm back at me?
The whole breaking into Kid Cudi's house and like opening his Christmas gifts, like he's fucking nefarious as fuck. Like he would build like a mob style car bomb, so I feel like
Yeah, but
he's
then, like,
gotta
maybe
go
you
first.
marry him to keep him close. You know, you can like watch
Yeah.
him, keep an eye over him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
God, that's so
It's
hard.
such a
Because then
hard-
the other
it's-
options, I'm like, what do I do with
What
them?
do I do? Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's really hard.
Or I just fuck Kanye so hard he likes Jews again. You know what? That Jewish puss made me change my mind. Never
he'd be
mind.
Like, he'd be like, I'll take one. We can
Yeah.
have one. We can have one. Yeah.
Did I just solve anti-Semitism?
You might have. You might as well just try.
Uh-huh.
There's
Doing the
no
best I
shame in
can with the tools that I
trying.
have.
Yeah, you have to use the tools the Lord has given to us. The Lord. I always have to do. I always say. I've been saying the Lord as a joke, but I forget that people actually say that.
Mhm.
So I have to make sure I do air quotes. The Lord gives in mysterious ways.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so good. That's good. I'm trying to think of like another good one
Yeah.
that I could recommend because from I started getting into Elin Hilderbrand. She's written like 30.
What a name.
I know. She's like written 30 novels that like almost all take place on Nantucket, which is crazy.
The Stephen King of Nantucket.
I guess, except like beachy.
yeah.
Actually, if you like thrillers, if you
I
like,
do.
okay, Look Closer by David Ellis. I read that in like 2 days, and it wasn't too gory. It was just like the most twisty, turny. It was so well done that like every time like another piece of the puzzle was revealed, I was like, what? And I didn't know if I could get through it because it starts out with like a murder in Chicago, and it's like a very wealthy woman, very like known, is found hung in her house on Halloween.
Wow.
And then and then it goes through this like very windy tale, and it was very well done.
I love that kind of stuff.
I am gonna send this to you
Yes.
immediately because it's.
So I don't forget.
Do you know Taylor Miller?
No.
She's another book comic gal we met at a festival, and we told me that we were talking about it. She popped up when I went to send it.
My most trusted source of book recs is other comedians that I know. Like I read a lot of stuff that like Amy Silverberg gives her,
Okay.
thumbs up to, and if people are talking, if something shows up on Pinterest enough times, I go, okay. Or Booktok.
Booktok is tough.
It's betrayed me many times.
It's
many
here's the thing.
times.
Can we get into because like you're a reader.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I am very grateful and #blessed that Booktok has exploded the publishing world and like made reading cool.
Yeah.
Because now we
Agreed.
get more books, and now more authors get more money, and now more diverse authors get more attention. Like they thank God,
Mhm.
because it was rough there for a while. However, if you grew up reading and you are a voracious reader, some of these books that these women are saying are amazing are some of the worst writing
Yeah.
I've ever fucking picked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you just not used to good writing?
I'll throw shade at Colleen Hoover all fucking day, dude.
I know.
And I've read multiple, and it never gets. Yeah. Ugh.
Come on.
The only good thing that has come out of Colleen Hoover is the fucking Blake Lively, Justin Faltoni drama. Yeah. That's the only thing that has come out of it that I've been like, you know what? There's entertainment.
I just like, for something about her stories specifically, I'm like, do you even like women? Like,
I was gonna say her characters fucking suck.
They're so like the reason I like the authors I called out from like the historical fiction piece, it's like a hopeful side of being a feminist. It's like I'm like, oh yeah, it is cool to like break out of our shell and to be bold and to be courageous and to say what's on our minds and like to be a trailblazer. Like, and it has been, these women have been around for centuries and they had it all way harder than we did. Like, it was so fucking hard to speak your mind for so long as a woman, and it is still hard now. But like, there were so many other fucking hoops you had to jump through. Like, there was like in one of the books, like the character is like acts very like quiet and domicile and is like very like, yes sir, whatever you need, but she's like the mastermind behind the whole like spy ring, and you're like, that's fucking sick. Like, you know, and like they never would have like guessed because she knew exactly how to play her role. And I just think like some of Hoover's stuff is like I remember when that movie came out and people were like, it's about women empowerment, and I was like, no, it fucking is not.
Yeah, not even a little.
Are you serious? Like, this is just like bringing the wrong type of attention to one of the worst topics that women deal with. But anyways, I figured we'd be on the same page about her. You were correct. Kennedy Ryan is a new author I found, a romance author. We got to work on these book covers just in general. Some of them are
every book cover looks the same. Do you notice that there's like a couple of book covers and everybody cycles through some iteration of those? And I've actually gotten tricked. And I have like okay, so let me preface this by saying that I have a bit of an OCD where even if I don't like a book, I will get through it. I have to finish it because sometimes they get better.
Have you ever DNF'd?
Once.
Which
literally once. Life of Pi.
That sounds right.
I couldn't. That sounds right. And this was a long time ago, and I think
that's right.
No. I DNF'd on a self-help book recently because it was totally not what I thought it was going to be. Okay. It was completely. I thought it was going to be about one thing. I started reading it, and I was like, "This is literally not what I thought it was going to be about." And because it's like a fucking textbook, effectively, it's like
boring.
Some kind of behavioral science book. I had to bail on it.
Yeah.
But there was a book that I was gonna be reading. Remember when Girl from the Train was cute?
Yeah.
So I was trying to read that, and I accidentally read Girl on the Train, which is like not the same thing,
think
or vice versa.
Got, like, there was like two train books about girls on trains.
And the one I read by accident was World War II historical fiction. I actually ended up like liking it, but it was not what I was trying to. And I remember my friend Heather was like, you're going to continue reading the wrong book. And I'm like, well, I'm in it now.
Listen, I was like really into doing that. And also like I would muscle through most things until actually like the last couple of years. And like some of them, I don't know if it might have been during when I was like trusting Booktok too much. Where I was like, I cannot possibly turn one more page.
I want your DNFs or like at least one.
I have one that's really recent and like really fresh, and it's like really hard for me to talk about because I had such high expectations, and I don't even know if I should say this. It's a trans author, and it was supposed to be a romance book about baseball. I love softball. I grew up playing softball. I was like, this will be a great way to end my Pride Month. You know? And within the first couple chapters, I was like, have this person ever played the sport? Because it felt like how I would write about cricket. Like, I could observe it.
Uh-huh.
I could read everything about it. I could watch a couple games. I could probably put something together.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't know the nuances. I wouldn't know the passion. I wouldn't know what the emotions are on a inning to. I don't even know. Are they innings? Whatever. Play by play basis.
Yes.
Like, the first thing they said in the first paragraph was how one of the best things about baseball is how you can have a different body. There's so many different body types in baseball. You can have a fat pitcher and a skinny catcher and all this stuff. And I was like, I mean, that is factually true.
Yeah.
But that does sound like what an observation of someone who's never watched baseball before. It's like one of the first things you notice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, don't be a dick. Like, just keep going. Like, take a beat. It's fine. It'll be okay. Like, just keep going. Maybe it's not. And then I was like, well, maybe this is gonna tie into like the trans body experience and like playing sports and like as a woman playing when you play rec softball with a bunch of men. Like, there's a lot of shit that goes on between the two of you. So I was like, I had hopes. And then it like keeps going, and like I'm just like waiting for it to like click, and I'm waiting for like the emotions, and then the romance story was claimed it was like a enemies to lovers, and everyone loves a good trope.
Yeah.
But like the enemy portion was like you just like kind of knew they were on the same team a long time ago. You don't really know what happened between them. The guy joins his team now. He just hates him because he's better than him at shortstop. But I was waiting for like the build up, because like I've had so many softball crushes on guys on my team, and like I get like so excited when we're like in the dugout together, and like, you know, like I'm like, hey, can you hand me that glove? And they like toss it over the fence. You're like, thanks. Or you guys have like a sick play on the field, and you're like, see, this could be how our lives could go.
Yeah.
Like, look at this camaraderie, look at this teamwork. Like, wow. You're like, you make a sick play in front of them, and they're like, hey, nice work. You know, like stuff like that. I was like waiting for all of that, and it was like, it was like barely there, and then all of a sudden they were like making out, and I was like, when did this happen? Like, you hated him 2 pages ago. I don't understand. And then I was starting to, so once I get halfway through, I'm halfway through, and I'm like, usually when I get halfway through and I'm like not vibing, I go to Goodreads and I look at the 2 and 1 star reviews, because this said a lot of 4-star reviews.
That's smart to do.
I said, am I crazy?
Yeah.
And like I started seeing like more people say the same thing. There was a lot of like, so many points for trans author. We need more trans storytelling. But
everyone's
this was
trying
the
to
worst,
be like, I don't mean to
this
critique.
was the worst book I've ever read. And then it was like, well, I think, and someone like responded and it was like, I don't think this person played this sport. And then someone was like, I thought they did. They had like some type of personal tie to it, but maybe I'm misremembering. So I like went and looked at the book, and the first sentence in the author's note, which is what sent me over the fucking edge, was, I grew up playing soccer. And I was like, well, then why isn't this a soccer book? Write a soccer book.
Yeah.
Like, is that like an editor thing? Is that a publisher thing? Like,
Someone fucked up.
Come on. And like I know I'm like in like there's like a lot of readers that were like, there was too much baseball for me. Like, people are like, I don't care about sports. So it's like, I'm like a very small sliver of people that would probably even want to read it, but I wanted it so bad, and I was so disappointed.
It's rough. So that was a Booktok betrayal.
It was, and I just like, and it was on a bunch of lists, like library lists. It was like recommending like, and I was like, oh, this sounds awesome. Like, I was like, I just had my all-star game yesterday. I was like in the zone. I was playing in 2 leagues for the last couple months. Like, you know, like. It's like, I was like, I'll give this author another go if they write about what they know.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, that's as fair as you could possibly be.
It was crazy. I was so sad. I was so bummed out about it. And then there was like a fantasy book that was also Booktok that I was like, this is so bad. This is horrific. I had to put it down.
Yeah, it was like Colleen Hoover was the thing that I hold against Booktok, and then there was some other book, I don't even remember what it was called, but all of Booktok was saying that it was like the saddest book they'd ever read, and I read it, and it was a 3rd grade level about some high school relationship that was not that dramatic, and then the kid like dies in a car accident, and you're like, this is so I was expecting it to be like A Little Life. That's what they were kind of building it up as, that it was going to be this insane world. Everyone was like, I haven't recovered from this book. And I'm like, I haven't recovered from you.
Yeah, like I don't get it. Like there's like that's one of my other like pet peeves in romance is there, and actually fantasy too. A lot of the main characters are so young. They're like they're like six. She finally turned 16, and I was like, fuck off. You know, it's like you're like, what are we doing? Kennedy Ryan, that's one of the reasons I liked her that book so much. It was like a second chance at love. They were both the characters were in their 40s. Both of them had gotten divorced. Both of them were dealing with like real life stuff, and it was such a beacon of hope as a 36-year-old single person being like, oh, they're like the way that the two of them moved with each other. It was like the way that they each gave each other space to move at their own pace and be like, I get it. I have my kids too. Like I need to deal with X, Y, and Z. And they still found time for each other and found like the cute ways to like show up for each other in this like very real life. Like this is what real life is. There is always something, right? And like they found ways to do that for each other. And I was like, right on, Kennedy. Like I was like, I'll read another one of yours. I was like, oh my god, I gave it a 4 stars. Because I think it was like a little long. Like I think it could have been chop. But another trend I'm noticing is there's a lot of like, and now they're viral, and now they're an influencer. Have you noticed that in some of these?
In the books?
Yeah.
No, nothing I've read so far has been that. But I also like read a decent amount of memoirs.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I like a good novel, but
yeah.
And I get, now that I'm slightly pickier, now that I've been betrayed by Booktok, now I'm kind of more so trying to go through either recommendations from people that I know, or plus my list is like so long. I have so many books on it.
I know. Wait, what do you have a good one for me? A good rec for me? Based on my genres right now?
Based on your genres. I liked I think it was called The Last One Left, Riley Stager or whatever. She's like a big it's those like thriller books. It's really fast. It's not gruesome. It's got some good twists and turns.
Okay.
That was like one of the thrillers that I enjoyed. What did I read that just now I feel like I need to look at my list? Riley Stagger, something like that. Riley something. Sager maybe. I could be wrong. I don't know that I've read anything this year that's been super fascinating for me. Well, that you would like. Because I loved, so John Krakauer is like one of my favorite authors of all time.
Everest Man.
Yes, yeah. Everest Man. And I was like, let me finish reading things from him. So the first book that I had ever read from him was Underneath the Banner of Heaven, which is about a murder in the FLDS, like super Mormon, like outlier community. And it was just like an unbelievable book. I was mad when it was done. It was incredible. And
it's not John McDonald. Different guy.
Oh, I mean, maybe it is. It's, if I saw the cover. I could be entirely wrong about
the only one left.
Yeah. All the covers look the same, and all the titles are the fucking same.
I'll put it on my want to read.
So I finished this book by him at the beginning of the year called Missoula, but it's about like rape culture on campuses, and it's like an investigative. He does like investigative journalism with his books.
Oh my god, fascinating!
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And Martyr was amazing.
What's that?
Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I might fuck that up. It's a tale of a young guy who like loses his mom really early and then is like this really disgruntled teenager. It's beautifully written, and he's just trying to figure things out. He's like in this fucked up place, having like lost his parents and trying to figure out a path, and his friends are kind of supporting him, and he goes on this trip to New York, and I don't want to give any more of that.
Okay.
But it's really heartfelt.
Cute.
I wonder if it would be too sad for you.
Probably.
It's a beautiful book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see. There's some Midwest stuff. There's some overlap. The big fantasy book that I loved, that like I like am like everyone, if you like need, if you're excited about something different, like very different.
Yeah.
It's called Legendborn. and by Tracy Dion. And of all the fantasy books I had, after I did my like year and a half of like only fantasy, outside of Throne of Glass, this one was the most unique and interesting and different. And is it because she's a black author? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, fucking so refreshing.
Yeah.
And one of the I can't believe I'm about to say this sentence. The magic system is so different and cool. Like, instead of it being like fairies and this and like these like half human, half animals, she finds a way to do the like Merlin and King Arthur's court. Like, that's the system, and it trickles down, and there's an overlap between like she's like trying to figure out how to channel her magic essentially from like her ancestors, the lead, and she is in college or late high school, early college, but you find out how like her black ancestors like have this like really sad like intricate history with these like white Merlins, and like why she's so much stronger than this other facet of magic people. And it's very well done. And she goes on this journey after her mom dies, and she's like trying to find like a reason, like what this isn't just coincidence. She feels like it's not coincidence. And then she like witnesses this magic event on campus, like one of our first nights on campus.
I do like stuff like that. I mean, I read my fair share of it. I have a Game of Thrones tattoo.
Yeah. So like I think like that's like one of my favorite newer fantasy ones. But like book 1 and 2, so there's 3 books out of 4. 1 I fucking loved. Book 2 I was like, oh, this is like ramping up to something great. Book 3 kind of let me down. But I heard it's because it was supposed to be a 3-book series and they extended it to 4. So I think like there's that like 3rd book slump. They're like just trying to stretch a little bit, which like I still bought it. I was like, I'm in, but I just need you to like I need you to step up for this last one.
Don't drop the ball.
Yeah. Just like no pressure, but don't fuck this up.
Onyx Storm fucked up. So
yes, exactly. But there's like another one that I actually, the Rachel incident, you might like also. It's written by a UK author, and it's some of the best writing that I have consumed. Ooh. And it's so refreshing because of the Booktok writing that we got tricked into.
Yeah.
So this one is,
I'm on board with that, because even if I get mad at a book, if the writing is beautiful, that'll be like the thing that saves it.
Sorry, not UK. She's Irish. It's about like a brilliantly funny novel about friends, lovers, and Ireland chaos, and she's like trying to find her way in her like early 20s, as we all are, and like fucking up and all this stuff, but there's like this big secret you're trying to figure out what happened between her and this guy, and like it's like probably, I sent it to one of my other reader friends, and she's like, you're right, this is like from the first paragraph I was like, oh, this is like incredible writing.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I think that would be a good one.
So do you think listening to a book counts as reading?
I'm gonna say yes. I used to say no, but I'm evolving, and I'm trying to be more inclusive, and I think some people like have a really hard time with the physical pages, and I think a lot of it has to do with like just reading comprehension in general, like what they did or did not get, or how their brain is or isn't wired. So if you can like digest a book by listening, fucking do it. Yeah. I cannot for the life of me do that. If I'm listening to a podcast, I can't really be doing much else. Like I have to be on a walk. Like I can do like little things in the morning, like little kitchen stuff, but like I'll listen to the news for like a full week and I have no idea what happened, because I'm like I don't know, I was like making breakfast. Like like we're doing something in the Middle East, I think. Like because it doesn't sync. Like I have to pay attention. Like so having that time for me with like a physical book, which is also why I refuse to get a Kindle. I just can't do it. I mostly read on my Kindle. I know. I'm like one of the only ones. It looks like a book page. It's not bright the way that like an iPad is. I know. You can't do it. I love the big chunk of paper in my hand.
That's
and
fair.
I love smelling it, and I love the feel of a library cover.
Yeah.
Like the book cover, I just like.
I do love all that stuff, but I love saving hundreds of dollars because I rent my books
I
on
do
my
too.
Kindle.
I mean, I just go to the library. Like
Yeah.
I love having having an excuse to go and like wander through the shelves.
Oh, that's great.
And like
I do that with bookstores. I'll just wander through a bookstore even though I don't plan on getting anything. I'm like, I want to see the goods. I want to see what they put out on the table. I want to like smell it.
Do you have like a system of like what like because like I have a system when I go to bookstores. I'll go to a bookstore and I wander and I write the ones down, and then I go to my library app and see which ones are available.
Nice.
And I'll put that on my queue if there's like, and I'm like, oh, I can get the semi new one fast.
Oh.
But if they're like from the library, but if there's a new one that's like 75, you're 75th in line.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, maybe I should snag this baby. And there's like a whole, it's like
that
a
is
game.
smart.
Yeah.
I don't have a good system like that. I used to go write jokes like at Barnes and Noble.
Oh, hell yeah.
So the one that I used to live by had like the Starbucks inside with tables. So it was pretty perfect because I would go, and I swear it's like I don't know if you've read James Clear Atomic Habits, but like the setting up the environment for working.
No, but it's been on my like TBR for a really long time.
You must. I read it, I think, in 2021 off of Brene Brown recommendation, and I've like read all her shit too.
I think it's been on there since 2021.
But he just talks about, and this is all kind of intuitive as far as like something like creative writing is so hard to do. So I kind of need every puzzle piece to be like I need the vibe, I need the smell, I need the drink, I need like the playlist in order for my brain to go, oh, it's joke writing time.
It's fun time.
And so I was doing this at Barnes & Noble without even realizing I was doing it. So I would go, and it's like the smell of the books and the looking around and the getting my Starbucks drink and the sitting at usually like the same table kind of reflexively tells my brain it's joke writing mode. And so I was like able to kind of switch into it. And I don't live by that one anymore. But I still like I'll go to Starbucks or I'll go somewhere specific to joke write. And then now there's a Barnes & Noble next to my Starbucks, so I can kind of go and like walk through and just do it piecemeal the way that I used to do it all together.
That's awesome. Maybe I should and like take some of that, because I've been having a really hard time writing jokes lately. I'm like, I have nothing new to say.
Yeah.
I'm like I have nothing else.
I go through periods where I cannot muster up anything new for the life of me, and I'll sit there and force it and like write physically. Sure, I'm technically writing, but like nothing at all. And I think I had just taped a set on Friday, so I was like laser focused on polishing that.
Oh, nice. What'd you tape?
Just for Hambone.
Oh, okay.
But I was like,
it a 10-minute? 15?
It was 15. So I was like focused on that.
Amazing.
But I like every time I sat down in June, like knowing I had that taping coming up, I couldn't write a new joke to fucking save my life.
No, and I'm so glad you said that, because like I started doing, after Limestone, I like met someone there that does like books feature work in the Midwest. So I started doing, do you know Funny Business, since you were in Cleveland?
No.
So like so I started doing like half out like opening for these headliners,
Amazing.
random headliners. And I started putting my like half hour together, and like ran it in Bismarck, North Dakota, ran it in a couple of random ass places in Wisconsin, same with then in Minneapolis, then in Minnesota somewhere. And I was like, after the Minnesota show in February, I was like, this feels like a complete story. I feel like I need to do something with it. And I think that might be part of why I feel like I can't write anything new, because I'm like, I think I want to tape it
and burn it.
I think I want to tape it, get it out there and burn it and like start fresh. And like, then it's done. And it's like, because I the little new ones that I had been writing, I was like, I don't think this really fits in this.
It really is like you get a door slammed in your face creatively when you're like, oh, but I have this and this new stuff doesn't go, and I don't know what to do with it.
I don't know what to do with it, because like I was like looking at the through line, because when I was like putting I was like putting together my my half hour and rearranging stuff from like date like month over month, like with the new spaces or the new gigs. So I was like making sure like I liked this order and that order, and I was like, yeah, this like feels structurally feels like something. And if my whole thing is about how I haven't had sex in so long, like the thing about me finally having sex doesn't really feel like it should be there. I want the cliffhanger, you know, like I want, like, I like that. I like my Amber Alert joke, but I want it. I don't think it fits. Like, so I'm like, I like ran it again in Chicago, and I'm like, I think I should try to just like screenshot it, like make it a snapshot, get it out there, get like 20 views on YouTube, and call it a day.
content.
Like maybe
feed the machine.
Do that. Like I don't know. I just like can't move the needle anywhere else. So I don't know what that means, but like maybe there's a part of that, of like that late. It's like this thing. Like this is my creative output that I love and I cherish, and I want it to be perfect.
I would imagine that happens a lot, that when someone's laser focused on polishing something that already exists, that there's then this kind of, not animosity, but like, oh, I can't give this new as much attention because I'm too busy putting attention here. And it's like kind of hard to oscillate between the two.
It's gotta be. So maybe there's something to that. Maybe I should read that one of those. There's another one that I wanted to read. What was it? Oh, about two completely different things. But I was gonna say there's another one that someone recommended me, but it's about like food. It's like it's not the same.
Do you listen to any kind of like self-help category stuff or read it?
I did the Unwinding Anxiety a couple years ago. That really helped me understand my anxiety and how it manifests and why, and how it's like, oh, I'm not like, oh, it isn't like me. It's like the science in my brain is just like the chemistry is off, like the formulation is off, and that is why you operate this way.
Yeah.
So that was really helpful.
What'd you take away from that and implement?
Did you read it by any chance? Okay, so basically, one of my favorite things that I consistently remind myself from that book is, because I was having a lot of anxiety attacks, like a lot, in between 2021 to now, and it was like showing how it's like these like neural pathways are wired, right? So it's like, it was like trigger, behavior, reward. So if, say, you leave your keys at home, and you realize that when you get to the airport, something that happened this past weekend, and your body's behavior is to get anxious and like ramp up the anxiety, and then it gets so intense and crazy that it turns into an anxiety attack, aka a reward, your brain is going to think that that's the best thing to do next time something like that happens. Or if someone says X to you, like if someone says something mean to you and it makes you think about the past and how you've been bullied and how you're never going to be enough and blah blah blah, like all like, and that makes you go, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that is, like, the reason it keeps happening is because your brain has now wired itself to reward you with an anxiety attack.
What a shitty reward.
So it's like, so that's the quote unquote safe option. So like you have to, like, part of what it was like step one, change, you have to acknowledge, you have to like pay attention to what your behavior is once you're triggered, and try to like, you're like, okay, I'm getting anxious. What can I do to like mitigate this? Right. So it's like, go on a walk, shake your body, put ice packs on your wrists.
Yeah.
Here, like, do like something to have your body focus on something else. So then you find out that, so then you're starting to rewire this reward. It's like, okay, I can be anxious and still end up being calm.
Yeah.
And still move past it. Like, you're going to be anxious, but the reward isn't going to be the full blown anxiety. And that was fascinating to me, because, and like a lot of times the anxiety attacks would come out of nowhere, but I think it's because I just like wasn't paying attention to like the other signs that had like throughout the past week or 2 weeks or whatever, right? So it's like, okay, I'm feeling anxious. Instead of canceling my workout class, I go to help. It's not going to solve the anxiety, but it's going to reduce it so we don't get up to that point. So it's like it was all of these, it was a lot of that, and then he went into a bunch of examples of like what his patients did and like how they fixed it, and like how like fixing that, like you're basically rewiring so much in your brain.
Neurons that fire together, wire together.
Oh my god. I wish I heard that so much earlier.
I could have told you it. I've been repeating it for years. It's not mine,
good.
but
it's so good.
Yeah.
But like, and then it's like, and that kind of can apply to so many things, right? Like self-talk, like you fuck something up, your behavior is like to call yourself a shithead and you're a piece of crap and you're a failure, and then your reward is like I fall into depression, like because I can't do anything for 4 more days.
I never thought that was like part of a reward system, but that makes perfect sense.
Isn't that crazy? So it's like he's like, just because you got, your brain got used to this being your default. So like people that kind of, and I noticed, like, once he said that, I was like going back and I was like, oh, like when I was depressed, when I was in my worst depression, like I still have bad swings, but like the most extended one, I couldn't snap out of it because I was rewarding myself with more depression, with more depressing behaviors. Like, and I remember like being like, okay, enough is enough, and being like, you're gonna go on a walk every day. I don't care how sad you are. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care about any of that. Like, you're just gonna half hour, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, like like, and being okay, we're not smoking weed anymore because like that has to stop. Like, you can't be sad and then take an edible because then you're gonna get more sad.
Yeah.
You know, you can't eat a whole package of Oreos because then that makes you sadder. Like, you can have 3. You can have, sometimes you can have more than 3, you know, like I had a sleeve of Oreos last night, you know, like but it's like
well, as long as you're not doing it as a coping mechanism. If you're doing it because, oh, I enjoy this and this is like or using it as like a good reward, the way that James Clear would say, like, oh, I need to write 1,000 words and then I can have my cookie at the end.
Yeah. And I was like trying to, like, I remember being like, I need to stop doing these behaviors because it's just like the reward is like, I want to be depressed. I get to be depressed more. Like, I'm just going to stay up till 3 watching trash.
It's like, weirdly enough, your brain's safety space when you're like, this can't be the safety space. This is a terrible space.
Correct. And then like same thing with like negative self-talk or like being super cynical. Like, it's like I find myself right now in this like very cynical pattern I'm trying to break. It's like anytime I get an opportunity, I'm like, oh, can't wait for that not to happen. And like, I wasn't like that like 6 months ago. So it's like I'm like, I need to stop. I need to catch that and be like, no, because like then I'm training my brain to be like, let's reward ourselves with more negativity and more pessimism. And then it's like, oh, then your brain's like, oh, that's fun. Let's keep doing that. Like, you're like, that's actually fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It's the worst way to live.
Do you do any manifesting?
Not really. I do gratitude journal, like, at least I try to do it every night. If not, I do like between 2 and 3 times a week. So I'm like trying to be more reflective. And like what actually keeps me going and like happy. And it's like usually never the thing that like I wanted. It's like what it's like spending an hour with you is like, wow, comedy got me a friendship like this. Like, you know, like I get to talk to someone who's very smart and very funny and very talented and very kind. And like, that's like why I love this community. Right.
Yeah. Thank God like, for it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's usually not like, oh, I finally got that audition. It's like, I got an audition today. I had my audition today. What was fun, what was exciting was not like I remember being in that room a couple of years ago and freaking out because it was like one of my first in-person auditions. And I was like, oh, I'm not nervous. I don't care at all. Like, I have so many, I have to get back to work. You know, it's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm listening. I'm being present. I get to like be funny and act a little bit and be goofy, and then I go. Like it's like helping me remember that. I am very bad at manifesting because I have a really hard time like thinking if like can I don't
Mhm.
like every time I'm optimistic I let myself, it never works, and I'm like really struggling with that right
Yeah.
now.
Can I share something?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my thing with manifesting and the way that I like to explain it, because I'm not like terribly woo woo. I don't believe in crystals. I don't believe in astrology. The avenue that I have found through manifesting and listening to certain people is that it does rewire my brain to believe good things and to have
Mm,
positive self talk. Because if I can dilute myself into thinking having positive thoughts will bring things in for me, guess what it does? It tricks me into having positive thoughts all the time.
interesting.
So, for example, like if I were to get an audition and go to it, now my teachings are telling me, like, I deserve to be here. Good things are always happening for me. Everything always works out for me. The universe supports me. And so it's that kind of self talk gets reinforced. I force it, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a daily fucking effort. And it's also, I was just talking to my roommate about this, but like, I do struggle sometimes with the manifesting stuff because I'm like, how do I do this work of telling myself it's all going to work out for me? Everything's always working out. I always get what I want without slipping into toxic positivity and
I
also
know.
giving myself space to like feel my feelings and work through things because that's real too.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find a place to exist in like my best form of authenticity with it where I can like be a
Mm,
good cheerleader for myself
mm,
and tell myself things are always working out.
mm,
When something good happens, use that as confirmation bias that, see, I'm correct. Things are always working out for me,
mm.
and kind of spin it that way. And it is a ton of work, but like over the years as I've been doing it, I have noticed my self talk is better. Like
That's
there are
good.
places where it still
You might have to
needs
send
to
me some
improve. I
some
will.
stuff because like I mean I struggle with it a lot. Like I especially because like a very good recent example is I got an audition for a comedy commercial that shot in my hometown while I was at home.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my." And let me back up even further. Like I did self-tape May to try to get myself like inspired again and be like, "Do I still like acting? Should I still be pursuing this?" And I was like, well, unfortunately, this was really fun. Fortunately for everybody, I do still love this. So like and I put that out there, and when I put it out there, like I started getting like these little like these little bites, like the woman who hosted Self Tape May like reposted it, like
Amazing.
the Yvette Nicole Brown
Mhm.
somehow ended up seeing it and like giving it a heart, and I was like,
Cool.
oh my god. And
Yeah.
then I was like, and then like I hadn't gotten auditions in so long, like so, and then the auditions started rolling in. I was like, see, like you put it out there and it
Mhm.
comes to you. You put
Yes.
it out there and it comes to you. And then I get like these 2 callbacks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is like you're putting the work in. People are noticing, like like your practice is showing up on tape. This is real, even in real life situations. And then I didn't book either of them, and I know I felt so confident and good and calm and not. I didn't second guess. I was present. I was
Mhm.
making choices fast. Like I was making adjustments as they asked me to. Um, and the one that shot here and I didn't feel that bad about. I was like, that sucks. Like, but like, it happens.
Yeah.
The one that shot in my hometown destroyed me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think part of it was because it was like, I found myself saying to 3 different friends I talked to about it, I was like, I'm just really embarrassed. And they're like, what do you mean by that? And I was like, well, I let myself believe that I could do this. I let myself believe that I was good enough to say I want to start finding work in Chicago, and this was an opportunity that like was literally handed to me, and I couldn't close the deal. Uh I let myself believe that like things were turning around and I was like getting better, and the thing is we all know commercials, like it's all about it's your look, it's the
Yeah,
client.
it's not about you at all.
It's not, and like that one felt so personal though.
But you didn't give yourself credit for all the things you got leading. Like you almost got the job.
It's like, but everyone almost gets the job.
No, because everyone
like,
doesn't get the audition. Everyone doesn't get a call back.
The thing that I like sent a thank you note to the director, and I was like, because she was the one that was like, my friend recommended me to her, and I was like, that was a really fun callback. Like, thanks for being whatever, blah blah blah. And she was like, I was rooting for you. The client, the agency was rooting for you. The client just like wanted it to be, like less funny, and that almost like made me feel sadder because I was like, I feel like the reason I don't get certain things is because I'm like too much. Like I'm not a plain Jane in any sense, and like from a marketing and like branding standpoint, I know that's really hard for people to like put you in a box, and that's what our fucking world
is. Industry.
And so it like made me, I was like, I don't know what to do with this, because this is what my gut has been like. I feel like there's reasons I'm not getting a JFL. I'm not an audition. There's a reason I'm not getting into that festival or getting rebooked at that club. And it's like, I'm not quite clubby, but I'm not quite indie. Like, I'm not quite alt. And like I don't know what to do with you,
times,
you know? And I'm just like, no one knows what to do with me. And
yeah.
So it's just like I took that one thing and I made it be about 3 other things.
Of course.
Which is like,
sure,
why not? Like, why not make one tiny thing about your whole life? Why wouldn't you do that?
I've spun out that I can't even sit here and be like, that's crazy. I can't believe you could have that train of thought when I myself have had many, many moments of that exact going down that path and letting myself be there. But it's like, you did get as far as like almost getting the job, which is in a way like almost more frustrating than just not getting it at all.
I know, but it's like, it is like what they tell you, right? You're like, the amount of people that get the audition is very small. The amount of people that get the callback is even smaller.
Right.
And they tell you when you're working, like that is the job. The job is not booking the job. And you're like, no, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You guys are crazy. That's unhinged.
But wouldn't it be
true.
Nice? Yeah.
It's true.
It
I
is
just
true.
like, I have a really hard time like believing that, you know? And I think there's been like there's like part of that grief that has been happening is like, I don't think I'm gonna I feel like I worked so hard, and I feel like these things were coming in, and I was like okay, like work begets work, like good, because and then it came to like a screeching halt, and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna go for me, and like figuring out what to do with that.
Yeah, but it's a false narrative that it's a screeching halt, because you don't know how those people at the agency that were rooting for you or the director, now you're in the back of their head for something else.
Yeah,
that's the reality of it. Is it's all our career is about. I've described it. Oh, sorry. Good timing, Bubba, and by that I mean terrible timing. But this is like my original quote that I'll attribute to myself.
Please.
But I think trying to be a comedian is like digging a tunnel with a spoon, and every little thing that you do is a spoonful of dirt. And eventually you make some headway that maybe you get like a bigger tool. Maybe you get like a garden shovel, like a little handheld one. Like you do start to pick up bigger tools.
Yeah.
But it's never one thing in this industry that unless you're fucking Hawk Tua who ends up in jail, like most of us have to just keep laying it down.
How lucky is she that she got to go to jail?
I know. Sounds so peaceful.
But like this is very very welcome right now, because I've been like being very mean to myself lately, and it's like a lot of, and I know it's not personal. I know almost everyone in this city is going through a version of this. Yes, like I'm not alone in this.
The industry has been like, it's gone through a fucking cheese grater. I don't know anyone that's like, things have been great for me lately. Like not a soul.
And like I'm like, on the whole, I am lucky I still have my day job. My dream was a lot of people's day jobs, and they don't have that anymore. So it's like and they have houses, and they have they have families to take care of, you know, like they have this whole I'm like,
it's a problem you wouldn't trade them for.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so it's like, just shut up and fucking figure out how to adapt. Like, stop complaining, stop whining, stop crying, like suck it up, go do something about it, you know? And like me and Andy have a joke where we were like, I mean, like, what's the point though? What's the point of going to that show? You know, you go, you have a good time, you get to see your friends.
How awful.
You get to laugh a little bit, you get to make other people laugh. Maybe you get a free soda. What's the point? You're gonna die anyways. And we just like do that with like any like creative endeavor. You're like, I mean, what's the point of writing this pilot? You get better at writing, you discover something, you send it off to someone who like might want to read it, and then they're like, oh my god, you actually are a good writer, do you want to come hang out with us? And then a year later, then they decide to hire you on as a staff member, and then what, you have to work as a staff writer for 5 years on one of your favorite shows. But like, what's the point of that?
What's the point of that?
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you know, like it's like but it's really easy to get in that, like,
of course,
that like what is the point of,
but you become successful and then you end up on the fucking hedonic treadmill, and then like everything you have isn't good enough either, and you move the goalpost and you're like, oh, that's not good enough anymore.
Like, I don't want to be bitter for not like, and I don't want to be upset at the things I do have. And I'm like, because you see it everywhere here.
Yeah.
And that's gross too.
It's everywhere though. It's not just here. It's like everywhere. Nobody remembers that they have the thing that they wish they had 10 years ago.
Right. My friend was like, I mean, think of yourself like 5 years ago. Like you have come so far. And I was like, yeah, 5 years ago, I didn't even have a commercial. I didn't even have a commercial agent. Like, look at all the opportunities I don't get to have now.
Yeah.
But it's like, I would have killed. I wouldn't have believed it if you would have told me that I would have 2 callbacks in a week. You know? Like, and it's like, why can't I just be proud of that? Because we're monsters is the answer.
Should we wrap it up on that?
We're all monsters.
We're all monsters.
The takeaway is that we are all monsters. And you just read books to forget about it. That's it.
I love that so much. I could talk to you all day.
I know. I was like looking at the time. I was like, I don't want to stop.
Please tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at Kath Novotny. It's short for Kathleen. My real name is Katie. I made my Instagram before I did comedy. So that is why people get confused and don't know what my actual name is. It's too late now.
Too late now. All right. Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime.
What a Monday.
What a Monday. And thank you everybody for listening. Bye.